Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they crucified my Lord?
One of his closest confidants, one of his 12 disciples, a man named Judas, snuck out and went to go talk to Jesus' mortal enemies, the scribes, the Pharisees, the corrupt leaders of the temple, in order that he could find a way to betray Jesus to them. And that very same day, they had even been talking to one another, trying to find some way that they could have him put to death. But they kept saying, but we can't do it in the open, he's too popular, he's a prophet, we have to do it by stealth, or else there's going to be a riot among the people. And then it was the next day. And it was the festival of unleavened bread, the day that the Passover lamb is sacrificed. And Jesus' disciples came to him and they said, well, where do you want us to go to make preparations for you to eat the Passover? And so Jesus tells them, so go into the city ahead of you. And as soon as you enter the village, you will see a man carrying a large jar of water, selling it to people. Go up to him, follow him, and wherever he enters into a house, say to the owner, the teacher asks, where can we go to make the preparations for the Passover for my disciples? Where can I go to eat? And he'll show you a large room upstairs, furnished and ready. And then they all sat down, and they started eating. And as they were sitting there, suddenly Jesus looks up at all of them and he says, you know, one of you is a traitor, right? And when they heard this, the disciples began to panic and say to one another, is he talking about me? Is he talking about me? Because he doesn't mean me, does he? And Jesus said, no, no. It's one of the 12. Jesus took a loaf of bread, and after giving thanks, he broke it. He gave it for his disciples to eat. He passed it among all of them, saying, take, eat. This is my body. And then he took a cup. And after giving thanks, he gave it to all of them to drink. And he said, this is my new blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many. Truly I tell you, never again will I drink of the fruit of the vine until that day that I drink it anew in the kingdom of God. He looks at his disciples and says, you know, all of you are going to leave me for dead. All of you. But after I am raised, go ahead into Galilee. Wait for me there. And of course, when he said that, everyone just started freaking out even more. And then Peter, one of his closest friends, his right-hand man, even went up to him and said, but Lord, even if everybody else abandons you, I would never do that. And Jesus says, Peter, this day, how do I tell you this? This very night before the rooster crows 2 times, you will deny me 3 times. And so Judas told the soldiers, I'm going to give you a sign. The man who I kiss will be the one who you arrest. Tackle him, put him in chains, and lead him away under guard. And so Judas went up to Jesus and said, Rabbi, and then all hell broke loose. Are you the Messiah? Are you the Messiah? The Son of the Blessed One? And Jesus looked at him and said, I am. And you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of the power and coming with the clouds of heaven. And when the high priest heard that, he tore his robes and he goes, you hear this blasphemy! You hear this blasphemy! He just claimed to be the Son of God! All of you, we no longer need witnesses! What is your decision, crowd? What is your decision? And of course, they all, every one of them, found him worthy of deserving death. And they didn't wait to start the sentence. They started to beat on him, and to spit on him, and then to mock him. Friends, I see that you've come looking for Jesus, the one who was crucified. Don't be worried. He's not here. He's gone ahead of you into Galilee. He's waiting for you there. So go, find the other disciples and Peter, and tell them. And then the women ran out of the tomb because terror and fear had seized them. But they didn't tell anyone because they were so scared.
Were you there when they crucified